Hey Pat, this is Russell. I thought I'd do a little impromptu video of the workshop and sort of this current project I'm working on. So here we approach the door. This guy, this gorilla, he is a sculptural pet. I'll tell you about the story of him someday. He started out as an animated piece but refused to be animated and ended up being something you can adjust and move him around, and he just is my toy. The sign on the door, leave time at the door. That's the basic philosophy of what I do. It's not about time as money. When I'm in the zone of working on this stuff, I'm in the headspace of, if this is the last thing I ever do, I'm going to get it right. One of the nice opportunities about art as a hobby is that it's a small little world where something like complete control is possible, and there need be no compromise. I have a sign on my bandsaw to reinforce that: piss on compromise, go for the throat. And by that I don't mean my audience's throat, but go for the throat in the sense of don't ever skimp on work. And it's not unusual for me to throw away 2 weeks' work if it isn't working out. So here is the piece that we're talking about. This is the frame. The face on this is going to be left open, unlike previous Gearheads. So you can see, we can go through here. It's 5 layers thick in the brain and 3 layers thick in the face. The motor is a 1901 Edison. They've got a speed control here, which is really a brake, which allows you to adjust the speed as you need. Motors are completely rebuilt. I put in new springs, and this is the back side where the drive comes up out of the motor. The sculpture in this case actually splits the motor. I've never done that before. I penetrate down into the motor and bolt to the center mounting plate of the motor, so the motor is really part of the piece. Here are the layers of aluminum that make up the profile. The gearbox is separate, and it will pop into this open space here, held on by the 2 bolts. And the gearbox is what I'm working on now. It's a new style. Instead of having each individual gear held on by a bolt, the gears are going to be sandwiched in between layers, kind of like a club sandwich. It doesn't show that well here because I am temporarily holding them on with bolts. But there are 2 layers of gears here. This is about what the back side of the piece will look like. You can see the layers being built up here. I'm working on the second layer. As the gears get placed in here, like this, I'll drill and put their axle pieces, and when that's all done, I'll take all the gears off. Then I'll cut this back piece. I'll filigree it so you can look through it. It'll be very minimal, just what's necessary to hold the gears. So as the gears are being built up, you'll be able to look down through them. It's always a question when I get into this, whether the thing's going to run or not, because the motors have a very, very finite amount of power. When they're out of torque, they're out of torque. Fortunately, rolling mass is not as difficult like as levered mass. So when the gearbox snaps into this space here, it will pick up this drive gear here, and the whole thing will run. Being able to take it in and out really simplifies the construction. I'm having these gears, the gears themselves, like this, I'm having them cut on a water jet. I did them myself for a long time, but I was never really able to get perfect centers and perfect teeth. So I did have these gears cut on a water jet, which will guarantee that they will work well. And then I go ahead with my scroll saw and cut the interiors. So here's the scroll saw. This is the workhorse of the operation, and I break literally hundreds and hundreds of blades doing this. This is very time consuming, but it gives the pieces a kind of an irrefutable individuality, and also keeps me entertained because I can keep running changes on them. And so hand cut gears, that's kind of, as I mentioned in an email, sort of an something only it takes an old man's patience to do that. The stand is tapered, and I've just started doing this, the tapered stand with the round top, and it's about 40 inches to here, and down on the bottom there are 1.5-inch ball bearings for feet, and they're threaded, so they can easily be adjusted to level and steady it. So when it's done, you can crank it without having to hold it. The motors, there's quite an industry in restoring old phonographs. So the motors could be kind of indefinitely repaired. Nothing ever really goes wrong with them. I mean, this motor's run for 15 years and it's still running perfectly. Sometimes these things, they call them the speed controller, the governor. Some kid will stick a pencil in there or something, and they can get these little springs here can get damaged, but they are easily repaired. So there's no reason why this piece, barring natural disaster, why a piece like this couldn't run for 400 years. So anyway, here's some more just random around my shop. It's just basically a double garage. Here's up here on the wall, here's a picture, a drawing I did from the top of the Wilma building many years ago. The corner of your bank is down there in the lower left. And anyhow, that's probably enough of this. I'll send this on to you as I'll put it up on YouTube, and then you'll be able to run it from there. I hope you're doing well, and when I get this thing done, I will certainly I'll give you the first shot at it, let's see, and I'll take some videos and still shots as I go along, showing the process and how it all works. So I hope you're well, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.